You've come forth from your non-physical perspective into what we see as the most dynamic and perfect of environments anywhere. You have come forth into the leading edge of thought. And you did not choose it lightly. You chose it deliberately and powerfully, with all of the defining power that you as a source energy being have. And you said, I will go forth into this magnificent physical time-space reality of great variety and diversity, for I know within it I will find so much that I can turn my undivided, meaning my source energy, attention to. You said, I know the beauty of this place. And in this place of diversity, the beauty that I'm speaking of is not only the stuff that I think I want, that I would like my nest to be feathered with, but it is the stuff that I don't want that helps me to more explicitly define what I do want. I know that I'm a creator and that I need an environment, a palette of paint, if you will, from which to paint. I know that I need an environment that helps me to focus my mind and choose. And I've chosen in this time, in this body, under these circumstances, this time-space reality, because I knew then and I know now that it will evoke within me clear desire, and that the larger part of me has now, there it is again, become it. I understand, here in my physical body, you say, that my work, my only work, is to come into alignment with that expanded being that I am. And when I do, the look of this place is almost beyond verbal description. As I walk amongst the people, I see the variety of who they are, and I see the power and cleverness of who they are, and I see even more that which they are becoming. And so, in the war, and in the confusion, and in the argument, I see not just improvement. I see a new world erupting, because I see the expanded version of life as a result of mass consciousness's individual focusing in its individual perspective. I stand in my physical body, you say, and I'm living my life as broadly as I can. And I'm squabbling about salt, and I'm worried about this, and I'm worried about that. But I am defining who I am by reaching for source energy's perspective relative to each thing that I live. And as I allow myself to come into concert with that which is source, as I live the details of my day-to-day life experience, I let myself in on the benefit of all of those generations that have gone before. And most important, I let myself in on the benefit of that which I've created right here, right now, in this body, in this physical time-space reality. As we watch you from our non-physical vantage point, the appreciation we feel for that which you are cannot be accurately spoken in words. But we want you to know, as clearly as Esther can find the words for us to express to you, we want you to know that everything that you are living is causing an expansion of that which you are, and therefore an expansion of that which we are. And we revel in that expansion. We never for a moment mourn you're not coming along with us. We never for a moment, frankly, even notice that you haven't come along. We do not look back and wonder if you're there. We only look in our undivided fashion at that which you have carved out, because we know that as we look at that which you have become and hold a steady gaze upon it and offer a vibration only about that, that if you're listening carefully enough, you will catch the call of source and you will begin moving in the direction of it. And maybe some of you will move closer in the direction of it today, and maybe some of you will not move there until you croak and come all along, but every single one of you without exception will come along with that which we have created. And in all of that is joyful expansion. You did not come into these bodies to have growth. You came into these bodies because growth was inevitable and you wanted to enjoy that growth. The basis of your life is freedom. You did not come to make something happen. You came forth because you knew the happening would be inevitable, and you knew you would enjoy the leading edge perspective of it. Nothing is broken in your world. Nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be different. And yet everything is constantly changing, because it is the inevitable nature of that which is eternal. So as you decide to go with the flow of your eternal nature, And as you stop nitpicking about the way in which you go, and you just understand that you cannot help but go, and you stop comparing yourself to the way others are going, and you stop criticizing them because they're not doing it right, or criticizing you because you're not doing it right, and instead you see yourselves all as adding to the contrast, that is adding to the expansion. In time, you will find yourselves, as we find ourselves, in love with each and every one of you. And when you love others as we love you, you're going to remember what source is, because you will be it. You're addicted to reality. You're addicted to reality, and you spend more time than we would talking about it as it is, where we would be feeling for it. We would be feeling for what's coming up in there. That's the way we would jazz up our life experience if we were standing in any of your physical shoes. Because this we know for sure, you don't know it and we do, and our words won't teach it to you, but we can tease you with it anyway. And that is, what's in your vortex is incredible. And because it hasn't felt like enough of a reality, you haven't given it enough of your attention, so you haven't trained yourself. If you knew if you really understood this vibrational reality as we do, you would do nothing other than try to release negative thought and get feeling good. That's what you'd be doing all day, every day. Someone would say, want to watch the news? And you'd say, no way. Someone would say, have you got a newspaper? You'd say, I never touch the stuff. Someone would say, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? And you'd go, in other words, you would care so much about, if you even had an inkling of the magnificence that you've lined up for yourselves in your vortex, you would put up with not one negative conversation. You would not utter a complaint. You would train yourself into complete vibrational compliance with who you really are, if you could even catch a glimpse of the bigness of what you've carved out for yourselves. But we're suggesting that, or you've even seen it in movies, how people can push themselves. They can just keep pushing and keep pushing until it just escalates bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You will withdraw from that action. It will be better than if you proceed with that action. That's just a law, because there is no such thing as assertion in this environment. In other words, everything is about attraction. You cannot punch things and make them go away. The more you punch at them, the more they come to you. There's no such thing as no in this inclusion-based universe. Now think about the last argument that you had, and how you held a position and someone else held an opposing position. And when you argued, did they agree? Did you? Or did you just come more firm in the rightness of your position? In other words, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, but so did the tension. In other words, it didn't get you to where you wanted to be. It took you further from where you wanted to be, maybe gave you more detail, but that you pull back your words. Don't say it. Don't say it. In other words, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Let's not go there, because it will get a lot worse. It doesn't need to get worse before it gets better. That's the point that we're wanting to make. It doesn't need to get worse before it gets better. And now let's take it further. Don't think it either. Don't think it. In other words, don't practice the perpetuation of that. Well, but I can't not think it. And we say, yes, you can. You can resist the temptation to think that by thinking something else. And that's really the fine-tuning that we're giving to you. In other words, we want to make this vortex such a vivid reality for you, and such a sought-after reality for you, that it matters more than defending your position. That it matters more than... because your position has not only been defended, your position has been created. Your position has not only been defended and created, your position has been maintained by source energy. In other words, if you knew the care of your vortex and the certainty of well-being that is earmarked and place-marked and held lovingly for you, you just decide to get in it, and you would decide that everything else is really a stupid waste of time. You would say, life and my exposure to it has caused me to create the perfect life that's all shored up and waiting for me. How can I get in? You would selfishly decide how to become an aligned being with the life that you have carved out. That's what you would do. And the good news is you don't have to wait for anybody to figure it out. You can just go to the Vortex and live happily ever after. And anyone not in the Vortex cannot negatively affect you if you've trained yourself into compliance with the well-being that your inner being holds steady for you. Isn't that nice to know?